This campaign has been plagued by misfortune from the beginning. There's no other way to characterize what has unfolded. Clark has been dealing with health issues for an extended period, and now additional ankle complications have surfaced. The Indiana Fever organization appears to be experiencing an unprecedented string of unfortunate events. Clark's physical condition has been compromised by various factors, but one particular incident stands out as especially problematic. She sustained additional damage to an existing injury when her coaching staff member accidentally stepped on her ankle during a game. Is not looking... Chloe Bibby's looking in shock, and her own assistant coach stamps on her ankle in a game. Like, it has to be one of the craziest things I think I have ever seen in basketball. I have to say, like, this whole season is accursed. This whole season is absolutely... Video footage reveals the moment when assistant coach Brienne January inadvertently made contact with Clark's ankle while moving along the sideline. The incident shows Clark in visible discomfort, with Chloe Bibby displaying shock at what had occurred. Witnessing a player suffer further injury due to accidental contact from their own coaching staff represents an unusual and troubling situation. This type of incident exemplifies the extraordinary nature of the difficulties surrounding the franchise this season. When analyzing the footage, it becomes clear that January had no intention of causing harm to Clark, despite some extreme viewpoints suggesting malicious intent from veteran players and staff toward Clark. Such theories lack credibility and represent conspiracy thinking rather than rational analysis. The reality appears to be that this represents another chapter in what can only be described as a nightmarish season where every possible setback has materialized. All setback has materialized. The bone contusion itself might not typically sideline a player of Clark's caliber. Most competitive athletes would likely continue playing through such discomfort. However, when combined with her other physical issues, the cumulative effect becomes more significant. The situation generates sympathy for Clark, who clearly desires nothing more than to compete on the court, whether dealing with her body's limitations, physical confrontations with opponents, or freak accidents like coaching staff stepping on her. Every conceivable obstacle has presented itself. This ankle aggravation, while minor in isolation, occurred through the most unlikely circumstances, similar to athletes suffering major injuries through mundane daily activities. These types of incidents fall into the category of unpredictable accidents that cannot be prevented or anticipated. Recent reporting has shown inconsistencies regarding the nature and timing of Clark's various injuries. Initial descriptions mentioned a tweaked ankle, which later evolved into reports of a bone bruise. The changing narrative and delayed disclosure of information has created confusion among fans and media observers. Some sources had suggested Clark would miss extended time without providing specific details or timelines. This approach of withholding information while claiming insider knowledge has frustrated supporters who seek transparency about their star player's condition. There are some crazy fans that are going to be like, well, yeah, Brianne January obviously tried to indicate on Clark, like, they all want Caitlin Clark gone, she's all WNBA, like, no. Let's be honest here. Let's be completely honest. And let's not go full on unhinged. I understand it's easy to go conspiracy theory unhinged on things. It is very, very easy. It is very, very easy, especially with the way things have gone with Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. Look, I'm out the broader implications extend beyond Clark's individual situation to impact the entire league. Her limited availability, only 13 games this season, has affected attendance and viewership across multiple franchises. The drawing power she possesses is evident in how her presence fills opposing teams' venues, a rarity in professional women's basketball. Few teams can generate significant away attendance, but the Fever have become an exception due to Clark's appeal. This dependence on a single player highlights both her importance and the league's vulnerability when that player is unavailable. Look, I'm not the one saying that there's not been some awful things that have happened around Caitlin Clark, but what I am saying is this is clearly just the season from hell. This is just the season from hell. Like, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And look, I don't think the bone bruise is affecting. I think she would play on a bone bruise. I think she would play on a bruised on a bruised leg. That's just my opinion. I think the accumulating evidence suggests Clark's return timeline remains uncertain. Earlier projections showed higher confidence in her comeback, but recent developments, including the ankle incident footage, have diminished those expectations. The combination of her groin rehabilitation, ankle complications, and the unusual circumstances surrounding these injuries creates a complex recovery scenario. The frequency of setbacks and unusual nature of some incidents continues to characterize this season as historically problematic for both Clark and the franchise. Each new development seems to present additional obstacles to a return to full competition. Indiana continues facing mounting challenges as another key contributor joins the growing injury list. Sophie Cunningham's season-ending announcement adds to an already depleted roster, creating additional obstacles for the franchise's playoff aspirations. The injury toll has become substantial for Indiana. Cindy Colson remains sidelined for the remainder of the campaign, while Ari McDonald also received season-ending designation earlier. Cunningham now joins this unfortunate group after suffering an MCL tear. I just feel bad for her at this stage. I actually just feel bad for her. I feel bad for Caitlin Clark because she clearly just wants to go and play basketball. And everything, whether it be her body letting her down, whether it be her getting knocked on her ass by other players, anything that can go wrong will go wrong, it seems. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's absence continues without definitive return timeline, having missed significant portions of recent games. Cunningham's loss represents a meaningful blow to team composition. Her contributions encompassed multiple areas throughout the year, including perimeter shooting, veteran leadership, and defensive intensity. The MCL diagnosis, while preferable to potential ACL damage that could sideline her for extended periods, still eliminates her availability for remaining contests. Management responded by acquiring Shea Petty through available roster mechanisms, maintained no clarity on that topic, and that the moves that they've made in the process since aren't related to Clark's injury. So that's the long and short of it. When you're dealing with it for the Indiana Fever, they make another move in the process of Sophie announcing her being out with an MCL tear, which, by the way, the MCL tear, relatively speaking, is good news because it's not an ACL tear. She's not out for like a year or anything, but she's out for the rest of this year. And they're going to miss her toughness, they're going to miss her shooting, they're going to miss her playmaking to it. This transaction appears structured as a direct replacement for Kyra Lambert, who previously occupied a similar roster spot. Petty brings professional experience from recent tenure with the Sparks organization, averaging 5 points and 2.7 assists during her most recent campaign. Some observers question adding another guard to current personnel groupings. However, available talent pools remain limited at this stage of the season. Most organizations have already secured their preferred roster configurations and addressed earlier injury situations. The remaining unsigned players represent a narrow selection, making targeted position filling challenging. Team officials clarified these roster moves operate independently from Clark's rehabilitation process. According to organizational statements, the Lambert to Petty transition aimed at now, as far as the small guard complaint goes, guys, I mean, one thing you have to remember is you are scraping the bottom of the barrel, and I don't mean this as a disrespectful way to put it, just in the sense that all that the teams have already filled their roster, they've already scoured the market, they've already brought in injury replacements. There aren't that many players left available. Maybe you find a diamond in the rough, and the Fever did that with Ari McDonald. Then as far as like a direct replace, Cunningham must miss an official game before hardship waiver activation occurs, meaning her direct positional replacement cannot be pursued immediately. Friday's Minnesota matchup represents the first opportunity for this process to begin. Looking ahead, roster construction questions emerge even assuming full health returns. The current group differs significantly from previous season configurations. However, when Clark and Kelsey Mitchell share court time, offensive capabilities remain formidable against any opposition. Replacement for Sophie Cunningham, well, I don't think that becomes available until Cunningham misses a game. So, to me, the Petty Lambert was a swap. For whatever reason, Lambert didn't work out, then she was good enough. Again, they needed a veteran, whatever the case may be. That was sort of a one-to-one swap versus Sophie's replacement coming a little bit later down the line. That the Fever confirmed this was not related to Caitlin Clark These moves supporting player development becomes crucial during this challenging period. Odyssey Sims showed promising signs during recent second-half performance, suggesting potential contributions if consistent opportunities arise. Brianna Turner merits increased consideration over current frontcourt alternatives, offering superior defensive presence and rebounding while making more sound offensive decisions. Turner's overall impact appears more beneficial than other available options. Team chemistry and emotional support continue displaying strongly amid adversity. Social media interactions reveal genuine concern and encouragement among teammates. Clark, despite her absence, maintains active involvement in team morale through public messaging and private support. Regarding Clark's status, additional clarity would benefit various stakeholders given widespread interest and invested fan base. Organizational leadership indicates deliberate step-by-step rehabilitation approach without rushing her return. Coach Stephanie White expressed optimism about potential availability before season conclusion, though specific timelines remain undisclosed. As far as that goes, when you're talking about replacing Cunningham, it's just going to be difficult to replace. And you look at the structure of the team now, and the lineup, and you do wonder, even when they're back to full strength, how much different it is than last season. But you have to maintain, when you've got Clark and Mitchell on the floor, you can cook anybody. And then other players maybe step up. Can Odyssey Sims play like she did in the second half of that game? The measured approach reflects appropriate medical caution, yet more detailed communication regarding progress markers or potential scenarios could address legitimate curiosity from supporters. Practice participation would provide visible indication of advancement, though recent team schedules have included multiple rest days. Schedule difficulty compounds existing challenges. According to analytical projections, Indiana faces the league's most demanding remaining slate. This classification stems largely from 3 scheduled encounters with Minnesota, including the regular season finale, when the Lynx might rest key players if playoff positioning is secured. Odyssey Sims play like she did in the second half of that game. Can Brianna Turner bring something you hadn't seen before? Because I want to see more from Brianna Turner rather than Dantas at this point. At least, Turner can play defense and rebound. And she makes, better decisions offensively. She's certainly not an offensive stalwart, but she makes better decisions offensively than Timpson to me. So I would like to see Turner play more for this team. Going forward, you got to see what Sims can bring to the table. You got to give them a chance. However, immediate scheduling creates potential opportunities. Minnesota plays Tuesday in New York, Thursday in Atlanta, then Friday in Indiana, 3 contests within 4 days, including back-to-back games with travel requirements. Indiana enjoys 4 days rest before Friday's meeting, creating favorable circumstances for potential upset results. While acknowledging Minnesota's superior current form, fatigue factors could level competitive dynamics temporarily. Fresh legs against weary opponents represent Indiana's best chance for surprising outcomes during this difficult stretch. Clark's eventual return at full capacity transforms team capabilities dramatically. Her impact potential explains sustained attention and belief in organizational ceiling. Recent performances demonstrate continued competitive spirit despite mounting obstacles, suggesting no intention to abandon season goals. The franchise faces increasingly narrow margins for playoff qualification, yet established resilience provides hope for navigating remaining challenges. Each game carries heightened importance as injury accumulation tests.